It's a beautiful morning right here at BCT 95.3 FM. It's the 22nd day in the month of May. Welcome to Thursday. It's newspaper review where we bring you all of the top stories on our dailies and also the details of these headlines. Do also join the conversation this morning on our Facebook and YouTube at BCT 95.3 FM. I'm Oluwafunke Israel. Today is Thursday. Go out there and triumph, because it is this or nothing. And before me this morning is Daily Independent, Punch newspaper, The Guardian, Nigerian Tribune, and Daily Trust. And I will begin with the Daily Independent. Food security, regional inclusion, key to Nigeria's stability. Tinubu, politicians, soldiers among Boko Haram informants say Zulum. Senate wants military base in Adamawa community. Finally, much touted coalition to unseat Tinubu picks ADC. Court admitting evidence judgment against military invasion of Kanu residence orders. UTME glitch, those criticizing me not aware of my track record. Oluyede, JAM to conduct mop-up exam for those who missed original UTME. We are boosting oil production to stabilize the economy. NAT slams FG over sharing formula for 50 billion naira and allowances. Tinubu excited as two British Nigerians emerge mayor in London. Ajero's NLC behind LP's woes, not FG, says Abure faction. Ocean jailbreak, NCOs places 5 million naira bounty on fleeing inmates. And to the Punch, JAM reviews 379,000 UTME receipt results. Petrol price war closes nearly 5,000 fuel stations. Salary crisis, FG plans intervention funds for 109 foreign missions. 2027, APC foresees Tinubu's win as Atiku Obi camps meet. Terror threat, Senate, Zulum demands swift action from Tinubu. On the riders, Boko Haram better equipped than military. Borno governor, foreign terrorists infuriating Nigeria. Senate, president should listen to army, not politicians. Zulum, Germany wants Nigerian neighbors against Russia alliance. Lagos seek justice for 3,215 abused children in 2024. Nigeria spends $2 billion on external debt in 4 months. This brings me to the Guardian newspaper. 2027 forgets defections. Angry Nigerians, old Ace Makinde tells PDP. Nigeria's face heightened insecurity with over 2,000 prisoners at large. Why I didn't yield to calls for resignation by JAM registrar. Zulum flags complicity in terrorism war amid push for new investment. Reps rallies FG to rescue stranded Nigerians in Saudi Arabia. And DPRA to quote petroleum truck loading capacity to 45,000 liters. Gladiators shit sword, restore calm to Rivers policy. Manufacturers grown over 37% lending rate, cite threats to productivity. You are testament of our global impact. Tinubu hails British Nigerian mayors. Lagos government says Ikeja, Lagos Island, Lekki top state crime locations. Nigeria's GDP per capita too low, needs growth to boost income, meet aspirations. The top stories on The Guardian. And now to Nigerian Tribune. headlines on Nigerian Tribune: forgets defections, it will be hungry Nigerians versus APC in 2027. Makinde, Osun PDP senators endorsed Tinubu for 2027. 2027 ADC meet today, may ratify coalition, set to receive report of negotiating teams. Opposition heavyweight settle on ADC as coalition platform. LCCI man decry 27.5% monetary policy rate. No lady is on trial for converting to Christianity in Zamfara government. Again, for pensions for persons adopted by gunmen in Kogi State. Ibadan killings of West African Senior Certificate Examination student IGP orders full investigation. UTME, why I did not resign. Oloyede denies conspiracy theory against certain parts of country to hold mock-up exam for absentee candidates. Trump ambushes Ramaphosa during White House meeting. Confronts South African president with allegations of genocide against white farmers. The top stories on Nigerian Tribune. On Daily Trust, Dangote to FG focus on local investors. Manufacturers. LCCI demands interest rate reduction. Shadow government court orders DSS to serve Utomi. Begins hearing June 25. 2027 ADC has new bride. Politicians, soldiers among Boko Haram informants. Zulum. Wike raises alarm over FCT security in health sector. Reps to raise panel over abandoned Baru port. Spelling competition exposes poor standard in FCT schools. The top stories on Daily Trust. Now bring you details of these headlines. Do also join the conversation this morning on Facebook and YouTube and at Vicinity 95.3 FM.
Enjoy.
And now on Daily Trust 2027, ADC has new bride. The African Democratic Congress appears to have emerged as the new political bride in Nigeria's opposition landscape, following its adoption by a coalition of opposition leaders as the platform to challenge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 presidential election. Previously on the fringes of national politics, the party was adopted by coalition leaders on Tuesday night in what one proponent described as the official back of the coalition. The coalition, which is led by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidates Peter Obi and former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, was formally announced on March 20. However, a decision on which political platform to adopt had been delayed by several rounds of talks, initially with the Social Democratic Party (SDP). Still on Daily Trust, Dangote to FG focus on local investors. The president of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has called on the federal and state governments to create an enabling environment for local investors to thrive, saying they have what it takes to create more jobs, opportunities, and harness the abundant resources available in the country. Speaking at the Taraba International Investment Summit in Jalingo on Wednesday, the business mogul said local investors are capable of providing a good source of revenue for the federal government, as its companies are currently doing now. He said the investment summit organized by Taraba State government was timely and it will promote government and private sector partnership, which is the best way to ensure sustainable economic growth. Stories on Daily Trust. Spelling competition exposes poor standard in FCT schools. The woeful performance of the FCT-owned public schools and orphanage pupils in Abuja in a recent spelling bee competition has prompted calls for the raising of education standard in the Federal Capital Territory. Project Hope Spelling Bee Season 5, put together by Paraslet Hope Foundation in collaboration with Helpline Social Support Initiative, saw pupils and students from the public schools, orphanage and private schools in the FCT coming together to spell and win prizes at different categories. At the end of the competition, all the winners were from the private schools and no single FCT-owned school came closer to the winning category. Stories on Daily Trust newspaper. When teachers are busy fighting for their salaries, what do you expect? They don't provide, good remuneration for teachers, no proper welfare. And at this point, you think they're going to concentrate on, pupils' development. They just do what they can and leave classrooms. There is no room for other extracurricular activities that would, enhance, the development of the pupils and provide an opportunity or avenue for a total child grooming, a total child or total pupil. At this point, then you realize that if we're neglecting teachers that much, it means it will tell on the people they're leading or the people they're tutoring. It's one way or another. At this point, we used to enjoy spelling bee while we're in school, even though some of us didn't like the idea of competition. But competition is good. It helps you know where you stand, your academic standing. And if you're this good, and if you're not just the local champion, because when you get to compete with other schools, we get to know if you're just here because maybe you're the best in your school. But when you compete with others, you get to know if really you got what it takes, to lead. And on No Christians Convert, standing trial in Zamfara State, Zamfara government has debunked a story claiming that Zamfara Christian convert Zainab is set to stand trial in Sharia court on Friday for switching religion. A statement by the spokesperson for the Zamfara government, Suleiman Bala Idris, revealed that the reports taken from social media sites that sought to generate traffic was completely false. The statement added it had been verified beyond a reasonable doubt that no such case existed before any Sharia court in Zamfara, because it is our right to practice, to have freedom to religion, freedom of speech, and every other freedom out there. It's still newspaper review on Vicinity 95.3 FM. Be right back.
Entertainment, politics, all on your darling station, Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejule, Ijesha. Music,
Vicinity FM 95.3.
For added value, Vicinity 95.3 FM is calling on individuals, public and private establishments to advertise their goods and services on Vicinity 95.3 FM, Ikejile, Ijesha, Osun State. With our wider reach in Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, Oyo, Kwara, and Kogi State, we are set to take your products and services to greater heights. For more information on advert placement and program sponsorship, please call Adeshola on 0810-862-9457. 0810-862-9457. We offer only premium services at Vicinity 95.3 FM.
Vicinity FM 95.3.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned on Vicinity 95.3 FM. Now, away from Nigeria, cool rumors in Ivory Coast as president's whereabouts are known. There are rumors and reports of a possible coup or large-scale uprising in Ivory Coast, particularly in Abidjan, where gunfire has been heard. Reports emerging from the ground and social media suggest a volatile and fast unfolding crisis. According to reports, at least 33 people have been killed over the past 48 hours as clashes intensified in key areas of the capital, Abidjan. The unrest follows widespread dissatisfaction with President Alassane Ouattara's administration accused of several human rights abuses, increasing poverty and maintaining deep ties with France. Protesters accused Ouattara-led government of being a puppet of foreign powers, particularly France and the US, with growing criticism aimed at the recent expansion of African presence in the region. Court orders Very Dark Man to pay 200,000 naira in defamation suit. In Falana defamation case, a Lagos High Court has ordered social media critic Martins Osei, popularly known as Very Dark Man, to pay 200,000 in a defamation suit filed by human rights lawyer Femi Falana and his son, rapper and activist Fulano Falana. The $1 billion lawsuit stems from a 2024 viral video where Osei accused the Falanas of hypocrisy and alleged they helped secure freedom. With cross-dresser Bobrisky, who claimed EFCC officials collected 15 million to drop money laundering charges. Very Dark Man named Falana files the stills behind Bobrisky's release, prompting the father-son duo to sue for defamation. Yahoo boy jailed in Kwara forfeit 124 million naira Benz SUV. Justice Abimbola Awogboro of the Federal High Court in Ilorin on Wednesday sentenced the 23-year-old internet fraudster Adebisi Emmanuel Olalekon to 2 years imprisonment without an optional fine. Olalekon from Omo, Ekiti in Ekiti State was convicted of a 2-count charge of cybercrime involving cheating and impersonation brought against him by the Ilorin Zonal Office of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The court also ordered the forfeiture of 124 million naira in his Wema Bank account, a Mercedes-Benz ML350 worth 30 million, an iPhone 14 Pro Max used in committing the crime, and EFCC said Olaleko impersonated multiple foreign nationals using fake Gmail, and Textplos accounts between August and December 2024, defrauding victims, including Alisa Mozeda, Brittany Burgess of $100,000 and $1,000, and these two separate accounts. Well, this is to say, if all of us all take to crime, then I don't know who will not be a victim. Everyone will be a victim, honestly, if we all take to crime, because I will have to defraud you, you will have to defraud the other person, and the other person. Life is hard. That's the fact. But the harder it gets. The more, opportunity we have. It's when we have problems we get to find solution. And we're not saying want a problem all the time so that we go, looking for solution. But somehow, in all of this, there's blessing in all of the things we face in our country today and beyond. And, challenges is not just a Nigerian thing. It's not just the Nigerian, situation. It's everywhere in the world. And people are trying to survive in a legit way altogether. So, nothing, acquired with ill-gotten wealth never lasts. And if you understand this, you know that it's not worth the stress at all. It's not worth the stress. Moving away from that story, don't pick lost item. During Tawa, Nakon wants pilgrims. Hey, they're talking to Nigerian pilgrims. Commission of Nigeria's warned pilgrims against picking lost items from the ground during Tawa to avoid being profiled as thieves. So far, the Commission has successfully transported 32,549 pilgrims, which represents 79% of the total intended pilgrims for the 2025 Hajj exercise. The Public Relations Officer of Kaduna Pilgrims Board, Yunus Samba Kafi, made the call during the inauguration and orientation lecture for the national media team in Abuja. Where it's necessary, let's spell out the things. Sometimes we know the truth, we know what the law is, we know, what should, guide our day-to-day behavior. But sometimes we need to spell it out as well, so the thing do not come back to bite us. So if they say you're performing Hajj at an holy land, or you're going to, to perform pilgrimage wherever, you should understand that it is called holy land for a reason. So you can't, be caught doing some things. And just so since this pilgrimage situation, this pilgrimage started, 2 people have been caught who have been involved in, banditry and then kidnappings. And all of the money they got from this, they want to fly away and go enjoy some pilgrimage. And I say, is this the way that you make money through ill-gotten means, and you want to, say you're going on a trip, to perform Hajj? How does this doesn't match at all, But we are humans; we do these things sometimes, and we think there's some kind of reward. There's no kind of reward in anything. You causing another man's, pain, and you go spend that money to perform what? God do not take that kind of, sacrifice or whatever worship from you. It is what it is. We should understand that. Now to Nigerian Tribune. We will not hear enough of this UTME. We'll not hear enough of it until the whole thing until it ends. There is no end. 2025 UTME results errors. I almost resigned. Olede, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB Registrar, Professor Isa Olede, has disclosed how the pressure as a result of the technical glitches experienced during the UTME in parts of the southeast and Lagos State almost made him resign. Oloyede revealed this at the stakeholders meeting with Chief External Examiners, State's technical advisors, and other key stakeholders involved in the conduct of the examination in Abuja. When this happened, he said his first reaction is to resign, but people advised him that the students will never forgive him because it will look like you have abandoned them at such a time like this. So whatever you started, finish it. And he dismissed claims of conspiracy theory against some part of the country following the technical glitches recorded during the conduct of the UTME. Even senators, Southeast senators have come to say, yeah, there's a conspiracy theory there. This is a disservice to students in Southeast. Why were they the only ones most affected? Well, this is a technical glitch here. So let's say maybe it happened more in that particular region, and it's not, the registrar's personal maybe vendetta against the Southeast, and he has come to say there is nothing of such. But at this point, we can't really, put one on one. We don't really know what the intention behind it, because if we say it's not true, what if it is? But at this point, Oloyede himself has come to say there is no truth in that, because it was just a technical glitch and it had nothing to do with it. They have even called for his resignation. He himself has personally wanted to resign, but he decided not to, because he will feel like, well, you started something, you should finish it. And you should be responsible, take responsibility. This is not when to withdraw. This is when to stand and do what is right by these students who have faith in the Joint Admission Matriculation Board. We know that transpired since the time the results was released. The students, we might just say it's just a student, but the future of that girl was cut short because she felt she failed. What if she was among the people whose result was also affected by this technical glitch, but because she felt she failed, and this is her second attempt, and she even did poorly than the first attempt, she took her own life. So at this point, I think we should just give JAMB the benefit of the doubt that something like this will not reoccur, and moving away from that, and hope that we also do not use this against the board in future examination. Dangote 12G foreign investors won't come to Nigeria. If what? We'll find out. The chairman of Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, has urged the federal government to prioritize the well-being of local investors, warning that foreign investors will be discouraged from investing in Nigeria if domestic investors are not thriving. Dangote disclosed this while speaking in Jalingo during the 2025 Taraba International Investment Summit, Taravest. On Wednesday, he asserted that every naira made from local investment in Nigeria, 50 kobo goes to the federal government through taxes. Dangote advised government at all levels to encourage domestic investors as they attract foreign investors to invest in Nigeria, and that's the truth. You invest, you even pay more attention to local investors, create an enabling environment for them. Don't make life hard. Like Dangote has rightly said, since Dangote, commenced operations with his $20 billion Dangote refinery, Lagos-based Dangote refinery, we've had, allegations of some sort. The Naira for crude was suspended, the back and forth with the National Oil Company, that's the NNPCL, and all of that. This is like you're stretching these people and others who are coming into the business, of like local manufacturers or producers or investors will feel that if Dangote is facing all of these, somebody who is trying to help our economy and is facing all of these, oh no, I am not going to give it a try. So we should encourage local investors. This is how they get to, lure foreign investors. But if we're not doing right by the local investors, foreign investors will give way. And we have seen, since the removal of fuel subsidy, a lot of foreign investors have shut down their businesses, saying, if we will not survive, we don't have to die here. Let's move. And they decided to vacate, and return to wherever they came from. At this point, if we want their trust again, then we should create that ground for where we allow local investors thrive. This, you don't even have to tell them. They would know that, okay, I think Nigeria is back on track. Maybe we could try again and do business. 2024 Benue APC NASCA endorses Tinubu for second term. Everywhere endorsement. Benue APC NASCA endorses Tinubu for second term. 7 federal lawmakers in the Senate and House of Representatives from Benue State have endorsed President Bola Tinubu for the All Progressives Congress presidential ticket ahead of the 2027 general elections. The lawmakers under the platform, Benue Pisinas Caucus, made the declaration on Wednesday at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. The forum comprises 2 senators and 10 of the 11 House of Reps representatives. The story is on Nigerian Tribune. It's not even 2027 yet. Poor economy planning threats to Nigerian growing population. This is from the table of the presidency. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday cautioned that poor economic planning by the Nigerian government poses a threat to the country's growing population. Speaking at the 2025 Taraba State International Investment Summit, Taravest, held in Jalingo, President Tinubu represented the Vice President Kashim Shettima said Nigeria's rising population is a matter of concern that requires an urgent restructuring and diversification of the national economy. More on this story is on Nigerian Tribune. Now you can join the conversation this morning. Leave a comment on our Facebook page or YouTube at Vicinity 95.3 FM. Call us on 081 3237 1268 to send us a message on that line as well. 081 3237 1268. We'd love to hear your view. Alleged budget padding will be on operates corruption, says Nigeria now crime scene. 2023 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, is alarmed by what he called the growing corruption in the country, which has turned the country into a crime scene. To describe a distressing recent revelation by Budge Eat Nigeria that the 2025 budget was allegedly padded by 7 trillion naira through the insertion of questionable projects. The former governor of Anambra State warned that the country would remain stagnant unless its leaders were seriously committed to tackling corruption. He said he had consistently maintained that for this country to make progress, Nigeria must cease to function as a crime scene and be repositioned for genuine development. This call for concern is not new to us, and we are not oblivious of this situation as well. We just hope our leader will take into consideration the future of this country and do what is right by Nigeria and Nigerians. If you want to keep this country sane, do what is right by Nigerians, do what is right by this country we call Nigeria. It's that simple. Well, it's not easy. It's easier said than done, but it is achievable. Whatever we can do it anyway. So let's get into it. This now brings me to Guardian before I wrap it up on the show this morning. 2027 forgets defections. Hungry Nigerians hold ace. Makinde tells PDP. The Governor Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State yesterday said the People's Democratic Party will continue to identify with the Nigerian masses and their aspirations despite the gall of defection that hits the party. He believes that suffering Nigerians hold the ace of the outcome of the 2027 general elections. However, former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Bachir Lawal, revealed that the politicians pushing for a strong opposition coalition consider the PDP a no-go area. Story is on The Guardian newspaper. Zulum flags complicity in terrorism war amid push for new investments. At this point, I don't think any leaders at all, except for leaders in the northern region, it's envies Babangana Zulum, and we've seen in recent times he's paying visits to these communities, affected by the resurgence of banditry attacks and terrorism. Speech after speech, the top echelons of Nigeria's political and business class at the Taraba International Investment Summit in Jalingo, Taraba State, on Wednesday, loftily mounted the need to boost investments in the country. In a sober reality, however, away from the glitz, the governor of Nigeria's most terrorism-stricken state, what, what a description, delivered revelations challenging optimism about discussions. Governor Babangida Zulum of Borno State accused certain military officers and politicians of acting as informants and collaborators for Boko Haram terrorists. Speaking in an interview on News Central Breakfast Central program, an infuriated Zulum vowed to deal ruthlessly with saboteurs, undermining his administration's effort to tackle insurgency in the state, even as he said his government would threaten its intelligence network to overcome terrorists and their collaborators. At this point, you understand that if you are a leader, and with the circumstances we have in Africa, where we see leaders abuse power and just enjoy, or this selfish rule, they, abuse power, and they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. But there will be a time where you'll have this empathy in you. Babangana Zulum did not create the situation in the northern region, but at this point, he is the number one man in Borno, and Borno has been described as the most terrorism-stricken state. And Babangana is saddened by this. For you to enjoy governance, where challenges will come, you overcome them as they come and move on. But for the situation of insecurity, it's been just the same. And now the resurgence is even making it look like the government or our security heads are not even making any attempt. It can be frustrating. And for somebody like Babangana Zulum, in his recent moves, you understand that he is finding this very challenging. He talked about a particular local government where, residents of these local government areas that comprise of how many communities, residents there, they are no more, they don't live there. The place has been deserted. And the only community that is left that people have decided to, relocate to now have been sacked again. And he's saying this will bring about collapse. When you see local government like this, people no longer live there in Zamfara. You hear some residents say they don't sleep there at night. They don't sleep in their community at night. They return in the morning. So where do they go to sleep? Now, if this situation is not well addressed, we have a lot on our hands, honestly. And Babangana is really pained that we're talking about investment at this point when we should be addressing insecurity. Insecurity threatens everything in our country. So if we're saying we're calling for investment, people are reading in the news what's happening in our country. People see it all the time. The way sometimes, the media is supposed to, of course, do not misrepresent some of these things. But sometimes if you go outside there and you see how they tell our story, it can be really disturbing. And you feel that Nigeria is a no-go area. But we live here, people live here every day, we go about our businesses. So it is sad that we're calling on for, investments. People are reading things, people are saying things, they hear what's happening in this country and think they want to give it a shot. We have to address the root cause and the remote cause of, the security situation in our country. And honestly, at this point, I do not envy Babangana Zulum. People say this all the time, when you're mostly challenged, they be like, they don't want to fit in that shoes because they don't know how heavy that shoe you're carrying, how heavy it is. At this point, it is saddening. I think we should listen to what these people who are the one feeling the heat most. Insecurity is everywhere. Yeah, we all experience it at one point in time, but in some region, it is really devastating for them, honestly. And something should be done. Investments, yeah, we can talk about investments, but we should address insecurity. We should be at the forefront of whatever it is we want to and do in this country. And this should be or wake up call, and it should be done now. We've had a good run on newspaper review. That whatever your wishes are, they do come true. Yeah. I am Oluwafunke Israel. And newspaper review executive producer Siyade Shola Salami. And thanks to the technical crew for making this a smooth ride. Till I come your way tomorrow. No, we'll meet again on the morning show. Until then, I leave you in the hands of your maker.
Music. Sports.
In towards Lukaku.
Entertainment.
Cut the beat.